Alright, can it create a 3D first-person shooter? Oh my god. Can it create a 3D interactive particle cloud? Oh my god. Alright, can it convert this very boring financial report into an interactive infographic? Oh my god. Can it create an audio visualizer that would sync with any audio that I upload? Holy smokes, this is just insane! Alright, I'm going to take a screenshot of a website, just plug it into here, and I'm going to get it to recreate this using code. Okay, I'm just mind blown again. This is crazy. So a few days ago, Claude 3.5 Sonnet was released, and this is by far the best AI model out there. It just blows all the existing models, including GPT 4o, out of the water. Now, instead of posting a video right away, I actually spent the past few days testing it out to see what cool and creative things you can do with it, and also test out its limits. So that's exactly what I'm going to share with you today. Now, we'll go over the specs in a second, but let's just jump right in so I can show you the cool things that it can do. So all you got to do is go to Claude.ai, which I'll link to in the description below, and then sign up for a free account. Once you sign up, you're going to see this artifacts window. It's really important to click into it and enable artifacts. This basically allows Claude to generate presentations and designs and tables and code in a separate window alongside your chat. So once you have this on, we can start a new chat. Now you can do regular things with this chatbot like you would ChatGPT. For example, get it to summarize things, paraphrase things, ask it questions, ask it to write an essay, ask it to translate stuff, normal stuff. But it can do a lot more than that. So let's start off by getting it to create a snake game. So I'm going to simply prompt it with create a snake game using Python. And this is a really simple prompt. None of the other AI models out there could create a fully functional snake game that works in the first try, except for GPT-4o and Llama 3 to some extent, but even those two are not great. Alright, so let's see if this actually works. Down here in this bottom right corner, I can just copy the entire code. And then in VS Code, I'm going to create a new file and just call it game.py. And then I'm going to paste in the code here and then click run. All right, so the game is running now. I'm going to use my arrow keys to move the snake, as you can see here. And when I eat the food, I do get longer. So that works. Very nice. Now let's see what happens if I hit the wall. That's exactly what it should do. So if I hit a wall, I lose the game. Let's press C to play again. Now I'm going to eat enough food to get really long, and then I'm going to try to hit myself and see if I lose the game. Note that most of the other AI chatbots, except for I think GPT-4o and Llama 3, are able to understand that if I hit myself, I should lose. Alright, so you can see if I touch myself, I also lose the game, and this is exactly what should happen. So I'm really impressed. It built a perfectly functional snake game, zero shot, which means I only prompted it once, I didn't need to follow up with anything, and it was able to successfully create the snake game in Python. But you can do much more than that, and here's the beauty of Claude 3.5. You can iteratively add more features to your game and it wouldn't break your existing code. So for example, let's say add a scoreboard to the game. Again, really simple, it's just a really simple prompt. I didn't even say add a scoreboard so it adds 1 every time I eat the food. I'm just assuming it's smart enough to understand this. So here it's explaining all the additions, but I'm just going to copy the entire code, and then going back to VS Code, I'm going to select all, delete my existing code, and then just paste in the new code here. And then I'm going to click run, and voila, here we have a scoreboard. And let's see if I eat the food. Wow, I get 10 points, 20 points. Oh, this one is challenging. Perfect. So you can keep adding more and more features to your game, and Claude can add these to your code without breaking your existing code. So I'm going to quit this game first. Let's try something even more challenging. So I'm going to search for audio visualizer in Google Images and pick one that I like. So I like the look of this one. I'm going to take a screenshot of that and then paste it into Claude 3.5. And then I'm going to write create a single HTML page that lets me upload an audio file and then sync that audio with a visualizer like the attached image. Don't use unsupported libraries. This is to make sure that it works natively in artifacts. Alright, so let's see what we get. Everything looks good so far. Alright, so we got this upload button. I'm going to upload this song that I created using another AI tool called Udio. Check out this video if you want to learn how I made this song. And you can see this is indeed an audio visualizer that matches my upload image. This is really impressive. Now we could decrease the sensitivity so that the lines don't exceed the edges of the frame. But I mean, this is already very impressive that it's able to build this with just one prompt. All right, so let's say I don't like the look of this circular visualizer. So I'm going to Google another visualizer which I like the look of, and I like this one. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this and then paste it in here. And then I'm going to write, make the visualizer look like this instead. Just a really simple prompt, and let's see what it can do. All right, so our code is ready. I'm going to upload the same song. And here we have a visualizer. This doesn't look exactly like the image I uploaded, but the shape and colors do match to some extent. Very nice. So next I'm going to write add settings to customize the sensitivity and the colors of the visualizer. And then you can see it's running its magic now. And this is really fast compared to other tools, including ChatGPT. Alright, so now that it's finished running the code, you can see not only can I upload my audio file, there's also a sensitivity knob, there's also a start color and end color. So I'm going to upload the same song, and then I'm going to adjust the sensitivity, I'm going to adjust the start color and the end color. And there you have it. I am just so impressed by this. I've probably used the word impressed many times in this video already, but I mean, that's exactly what I feel right now. Now let's try something even crazier. So I am on the homepage of Spotify. Let's take a screenshot of this. And then going back to Claude 3.5, I'm going to paste in the screenshot here, and then I'm going to write, convert this UI design into front-end code. Really simple prompt. Let's see if it can pull this off. Oh my gosh, and here we go. Isn't that crazy? So yes, it doesn't pull the exact images of the artist or the Spotify logo from this. You'll have to add it in yourself, but I mean, just within seconds, you can duplicate this wireframe from Spotify already. Isn't that crazy? Now, this is only front-end code. Of course, there's a lot more to a website, such as linking the data from the back end to the front end. But I mean, just the fact that it's able to recreate this page just from a screenshot within a few seconds, and then just from one prompt without refining it any further, this is just mind-blowing. Now let's try something even crazier. I'm going to prompt it, create Tetris game using Python. Now again, Tetris is a lot trickier than a snake game. So if it's able to pull this off zero shot, which means I don't need to prompt it further, it can just create a fully functional Tetris game in one go, I would be very, very impressed. All right, so it says use the arrow keys, left, right, down arrows to move the pieces, and then the up arrow is to rotate the piece. The game ends when a new piece can't be placed at the top of the grid. All right, I'm so excited to try this out. So again, I'm going to copy the entire code, and then in VS Code, delete everything that's here, and then paste this Tetris code in, and then click run. Oh, now I am hitting an error. This is quite a complicated game, so it could not get this in one shot. I'm just going to copy this entire error message and then paste it back in here and then see if it works. Again, with this tool, you don't really need to learn how to code. Like, you don't need to understand what on earth is going on here. With AI, all you need to do is, if you hit an error message, just paste it into the chatbot, rinse and repeat, and eventually you're going to get this game to work. So I'm going to copy the contents and then paste it in here again, click save, and then I will click run. And wow, this time it works. Wow, this is really good. And oh, I hate these shapes. And oh my gosh, this really is Tetris. Now, as you can see, I suck at Tetris. So let me try to form a full line and see if the line disappears. Oh, I hate these shapes. I really hate these shapes. Why did I do that? Oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to form a new line and let's see if it disappears. And yes, it does. Wow, this is so cool. All right, so I'm going to try and lose the game now. So if I hit the top, wow, perfect. That is so cool. So with just 2 prompts, I was able to build a fully functional Tetris game, right? With all these different shapes and colors, with a scoreboard, and it's able to generate this perfectly. None of the other AI models, including GPT-4, including Llama 3, could create a fully functional Tetris game with just 2 prompts. This is just truly impressive. And Tetris isn't the only type of game that Claude 3.5 could create. So this user created an entire 3D first-person shooter similar to the game Doom in just 3 prompts. And it comes with a complete generated map and sound effects and zombies that come after you. How insane is that? This is like so impressive, and definitely no other AI model can create such a game in just 3 prompts. And imagine if you keep reiterating, if you keep prompting it further to add new features, what type of game you could create in the end. This honestly unleashes so much creativity. But that's not all it can do. Here is something even cooler. You can create entire presentations all within this chatbot. So for example, let's write create a JS presentation on the health implications of coffee. Let's see if it can do this. Wow, look at that. Isn't this insane? It created this entire presentation with just 1 prompt. So let's see what it wrote. Health implications of coffee. Coffee is one of the most popular beverages worldwide. All right. So slide 2, slide 3, 4, etc., etc. Now, of course, you can style this up. So for example, use chill aesthetic colors, add images and charts where appropriate. And let's see if this works. All right. So it's adding a lot more detail now. Very nice. So here you can see it's just using a placeholder. I can go in and add some images of coffee afterwards. But wow, look at that. So let me go back to the previous slide. Note that when I go to the slide with the table, it even animates the bars. Holy smokes, this is just so impressive. So, forget having to manually set animations in Microsoft PowerPoint when you can do this. I mean, how cool is that? Wow. I'm just really impressed by this. So, if you're a student or if you're at work and you need to create a presentation, all you got to do is, upload a document here with all the info you need in the presentation and then prompt it to create a full presentation for you. It's as simple as that. So let's say you want to create an infographic report. So I'm taking the 10Q report from Tesla. This is basically their financial report for the first quarter of 2024. So it's very boring. It looks like this. I'm going to save this as a PDF. And then back in Claude, I'm going to upload the PDF here. And then I'm going to say create an interactive 2-page infographic on the attached document. Let's see if it can do this. All right, so it's setting up the code now. Holy smokes, that is crazy. It even comes with symbols. It gives you the key performance metrics. These charts are interactive. Let me scroll down a bit. That is just crazy. And it took all this info from this boring document, right? It's able to, tease apart all these numbers and just give you the key metrics. Let's check out page 2. And then here it lists the key highlights and outlook. So I am just absolutely mind blown by this, how impressive this is. If your job is to create these reports or presentations, think of how easy this is going to make your life. Before, you probably need to spend at least an hour compiling this report and then designing the PDF or the presentation. But with this, you can just plug in a document and it would spit out a fully designed report for you in a matter of seconds. All right, let's try something else. So I've used this tool to create a diagram of a neural network. Now, let's say I want to use this for an animation for an educational video. Well, all I have to do is take a screenshot of this. And then going back to Claude, I will paste the screenshot into here. I'm just pressing Control V. And then here's another trick. Instead of me thinking of what prompt to type, I'm going to ask Claude 3.5, what prompt should I write to get yourself to generate an animation of this diagram? Now, to save some credits, I don't want to ask this directly in Claude AI. So I'm using another tool called Poe, which also has Claude 3.5. However, Poe's version does not have this artifact window which previews the code that it generates. And so that's why I use Poe's Claude 3.5 just for text prompts. But it's essentially the same thing. It's also using Claude 3.5. So in Poe, I'm simply asking it to give me a prompt to create an interactive animation from the attached neural network diagram to use with Claude 3.5 and artifacts. And then it suggested that I use this prompt. So I am just going to copy the whole thing, and then going back to Claude, I'm going to paste it in here. So the prompt is using the neural network diagram I've shared as a reference. Please create an interactive HTML/JS animation that demonstrates the flow of data through this network. It should include a visual representation of the network structure, matching the layout in the image, animated paths showing data flowing from the input layer through the hidden layers to the output layer, the ability to input sample data into the 5 input nodes. I'm not sure what this would do, but let's just leave it. And then visual feedback showing how the activation of nodes changes based on the input. And then a simple UI to control the animation speed and reset the simulation. All right, so let's click enter and see what it gives us. There's a lot of code that it's generating, so this seems like quite a complex animation. Wow, this is crazy. All right, so let's see how we use this. Let me tell you about this awesome AI assistant called ChatLLM by our sponsor, Abacus AI. You can try it for free via the link in the description below. ChatLLM is an awesome way to use different LLMs all in one place. This includes the newest GPT-4o, Meta's Llama 3, Anthropic's Claude Opus, and more. Not only can you chat with it like a regular chatbot, but it also retrieves the latest data from the web, ensuring that your output is the most up-to-date. You can also get these LLMs to generate images for you, right in the chat, so there's no need to head to a separate image generation platform. You can also create custom AI agents designed to perform specific tasks, whether it's automating customer support, generating reports, or any other function. Your custom AI agent will handle it with precision. And collaboration is made easy with Chat LLM. You can invite team members to join the same chat thread, ensuring everyone is on the same page and can contribute to the chat. Moreover, Chat LLM integrates seamlessly with various enterprise platforms such as Slack, Teams, and more, so you can incorporate AI into your existing workflows without any hassle. Experience the power and versatility of Chat LLM by Abacus AI today. Try it for free via the link in the description below. Now back to the video. This network structure matches the layout in the image with 4 layers. The first layer has 6 nodes. Next, it has 8 nodes in each hidden layer, and then 4 output nodes, and that's exactly what we have. So there's 6 nodes here, 8 nodes in each hidden layer, and then 4 nodes in the output layer. And that's exactly the node count of my original image. And then animated data flow, particles represent data flowing through the network. So actually, let me press start and see what that does. Whoa. All right. So particles represent data flowing through the network, moving from the input layer through the hidden layers to the output layer. It seems to be stuck in the first hidden layer. Let me try again. All right, it seems to be stuck there, but anyways, let's continue. Input simulation. The animation automatically generates random input data for the 5 input nodes. In a more advanced version, you could add input fields for user-defined data. All right, very cool. Well, it seems like the particles are stuck at the first hidden layer. So let me just type this and see if it can fix it. So the particles are stuck at the first hidden layer. All right, so let's see if it can fix it. All right, so let's click start. Whoa, that is crazy. And note that the numbers in these nodes update as well. That's just crazy. And if we adjust the speed, oh my God, I am just so impressed by this. You can see how easy it is to take any diagram and animate it to, for example, make an educational video. This is just so impressive to me. And then if I adjust the speed to be faster, you can see now it goes really fast. And then if I press stop, it stops. If I press reset, then the numbers reset to 0. And if I press start again, then the data flows through this neural network again. This is just so impressive, honestly. All right, let's make something even crazier. So I'm going to create an app in one HTML page that can be used in artifacts, make an interactive 3D particle cloud with a maximum of 100 particles. And then to make sure it works in artifacts, I'm going to write use 3.js for the simulation. This is a JavaScript library that renders 3D objects for the web. And then just to make sure it works in artifacts, I'm going to write do not use unsupported or third-party libraries or functions. Create your own functions. Because I want this page to be standalone, I just want it to work off the bat without pulling from any other dependencies or APIs. So let's click generate and see if it can do that. Whoa, and here we go. Let's see what we can do. So users can resize the browser to see the particle cloud adapts to different screen sizes, observe the particles movements and interactions within the 3D space. So if I click into this, does it do anything? No, it does not. All right, so if you'd like to modify or enhance this particle cloud, here are some ideas. Add color variations to the particles, implement users controls to adjust the particle speed or count, add mouse interaction to affect particle movement. Yeah, let's paste this in. So I'm just gonna copy these 3 points and then paste this in here. Let's see what else we can do. Add mouse interaction to affect particle movement and camera movement. Let's see if it can do that. All right, let's click generate and see if it can pull this off. By the way, already super impressive that it can create this floating particle cloud with just one prompt. Holy smokes, and it does exactly that. So here we change the particles into different sizes. Let's try to increase the particle count. And yes, as I drag it lower, you can see the particles decrease in number. As I drag it to like 200, you can see we get a lot more particles. And then particle speed. This is crazy. So you can see as I increase the speed, these particles move a lot faster and they bounce off this virtual wall. And the movements look very smooth. And then if I decrease the speed, you can see the particles move a lot slower. And then look at this. Mouse movement now affects both particle movement and camera position. The camera smoothly follows the mouse cursor, creating a parallax effect. So yes, it does. You can see as I move the cursor, the particles in the cloud also follow my cursor to some extent. That is just so cool. I hope you're seeing what I'm seeing here. It's a very subtle movement, and of course you can add in an additional prompt to make this more sensitive. But that is just so cool. And by the way, you can always revert back to a previous version. So down here you see version 2 of 2. If you click here, this goes back to version 1. And then here you can copy the code of version 1 and do whatever you want with it. And then if you go back here, here's version 2, here's the code of version 2, here's the preview of version 2. And you know, this artifacts window, this is not really AI. This is just a built-in code visualizer, but I really love this interface. And you know, the problem I've experienced with using other chatbots like ChatGPT or Poe is that whenever I create some code, I just need to copy the whole thing and then paste it in VS Code and then go back to the chatbot and then refine it further and then copy that new code and then paste it back in VS Code and then rinse and repeat. And it's just not very convenient. But here they really streamlined it where you can see the code side by side with your prompt and with its explanation, and then you can iterate on your code in this same window before finally pasting the final code, which you're satisfied with, to your project, which lives somewhere else. So I really like how they designed this user interface. It just makes things very convenient. All right, so let's go over the specs of Claude 3.5. So here they say we are launching Claude 3.5 Sonnet, our first release in the forthcoming Claude 3.5 model family. 3.5 Sonnet is now available for free on Claude.ai and the iOS app, while subscribers can access it with significantly higher rate limits. So they're kind of doing the same thing as OpenAI, which also offers their most cutting-edge model, GPT-4o, for free to all users. But the free plan has limits, and if you want to use it more, then you need to subscribe. So this is also available via Anthropic API, Amazon Bedrock, and Google Cloud's Vertex AI. And it has a 200k token context window, which is more than enough for most tasks. All right, so here y-axis is intelligence, and we'll go over the specific benchmark scores of Claude 3.5 in a second. But note that this version that they just released is the Sonnet version. And if you refer to the previous generation, Claude 3, they actually have 3 different versions. The smallest one and the fastest one is Haiku. So Haiku has fewer parameters and therefore it runs faster, but as a result, it's less intelligent. And then the mid-tier model is Sonnet. So Sonnet has slightly higher intelligence than Haiku because it has more parameters, but at the same time, it's going to cost more and it's going to infer a tad bit slower. And then their biggest model, and this was previously the leading model for Anthropic, this is Claude 3 Opus. This has the highest parameter count and is the most intelligent out of all the models, but of course, it costs more to run this model. Now, the crazy thing is this new generation 3.5 Sonnet, which is just the mid-tier model in this family, has already significantly outperformed the highest tier model, Claude 3 Opus. They haven't even released Claude 3.5 Opus yet, so once that is released, it's going to be way more intelligent than the Sonnet version that we're seeing right now. So this is just insane progress. You can see this new generation 3.5, not only is it way smarter than the higher tier model of the previous generation, but it's also a lot cheaper than Claude 3 Opus. Here it says Claude 3.5 Sonnet sets new industry benchmarks for graduate level reasoning, undergraduate level knowledge, and coding proficiency. And we've definitely seen that it can indeed code very well. It operates at twice the speed of Claude 3 Opus. Again, this is the best model of the previous generation. So this performance boost combined with cost-effective pricing makes Claude 3.5 Sonnet ideal for complex tasks, such as customer support and orchestrating multi-step workflows. And that is indeed what we've seen. So as we code up a project, it's able to take our feedback and iteratively add new features to the project without breaking it. So this is an example of a multi-step workflow. So let's jump in and see the benchmarks. So across all of these benchmarks, it just destroys Claude 3 Opus. And across most of them, it also beat GPT-4o, except for undergraduate level knowledge, in which case for zero shot, that means you only prompt it once. GPT-4o is a tad bit better, but then for coding, Claude 3.5 is better. Same with multilingual math, same with reasoning over text, and then interestingly for math problem solving, GPT-4o still beats Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And we have seen GPT-4o solving a Math Olympics problem, so it is indeed very good at math problem solving. And then there are a few other benchmarks here. Basically, the takeaway message is that for most of these benchmarks, Claude 3.5 Sonnet beats not only the biggest model of the previous generation of Claude, but it also beats GPT-4o, which was the leading AI model. So if you go to LMSys, this is basically the rankings of all the major AI models based on user blind tests. And you can see GPT-4o is or was number one. Now notice that Claude 3.5 isn't on here yet, and that's why GPT-4o is still number one in this table. I'm actually not sure why Claude 3.5 hasn't been added here yet. If you know why, please let me know in the comments below. However, if you go to yet another leaderboard, which is called LiveBench, which the authors claim to be a contamination-free benchmark, and this is because some of the AI models might be trained on very similar problems to benchmark questions. And if that's the case, well, then these models would be very biased in solving those particular problems and therefore get a high score across these benchmarks. But for LiveBench, they claim that this benchmark does not face this issue. And then if you scroll down to the leaderboard, note that Claude 3.5 Sonnet basically destroys GPT-4o across all these metrics, including reasoning, coding, mathematics, data analysis, etc., etc. And some of these are huge leaps. So for example, for reasoning, GPT-4o only got 48, and surprisingly, GPT-4 Turbo is actually slightly better at reasoning with a score of 55, but still, Claude 3.5 Sonnet just blows it out of the water with a score of 70. Same with coding. This is by far the best model for coding, at least according to this LiveBench benchmark. So previously, these GPT-4 models are only hovering at around 46, 47, but Claude 3.5 Sonnet is just way better with a score of 63. And that seems to be the sentiment of people who've used it so far. Everyone's reactions have been quite positive. Most people have been saying how Claude 3.5 Sonnet is noticeably better, especially for coding and reasoning compared to GPT-4o. Now, Claude 3.5 is a closed source model, so we don't really know what the architecture is, but the team has revealed some insights on the model. So for example, this person, who is head of product at Anthropic, says 3.5 Sonnet is larger than its predecessor, but draws much of its new competence from innovations in training. For example, the model was given feedback designed to improve its logical reasoning skills. Very interesting. And then in another article, the same guy says that the improvements are the result of architectural tweaks and new training data, including AI-generated data, which data specifically he would not disclose. But he implied that Claude 3.5 Sonnet draws much of its strength from these training datasets. And this is a recurring trend that we're seeing in the latest AI models. Now, it's a known fact that the more data you have, the better the model will be. This is due to something called scaling laws. But the problem is, even like older generations of AI models, we've pretty much trained them on all of the data from the internet already. And that data is not enough. We need more and more data to make the AI model more intelligent, everything else being equal. So how do we get this new data? Well, it turns out that you can actually get AI to generate synthetic data. And as long as that data is clean and high quality, you can append this data to the training set to create a more intelligent AI model. And he also implied that not only did they use synthetic data, but they also made some architectural tweaks. Now, if I were to guess, there's probably like something agentic going on, maybe mixture of agents or something, but we don't know the full details. And then finally, they say that they will release 3.5 Haiku, which is the smaller model, and 3.5 Opus, which is the bigger model, later this year. So really exciting times. I mean, just from the performance of 3.5 Sonnet, it's clear that we aren't even close to hitting a plateau with these LLMs. We're not seeing diminishing returns. Each newer generation just gets smarter and smarter. And so this is really exciting, and there are so many cool things you can do with 3.5, such as creating games, creating visualizations, creating reports and presentations. The sky's the limit, so definitely take advantage of this and play around with it. It's totally free to do so. So that sums up this new AI model, Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Let me know in the comments what you think of it, and if you've had a chance to play around with it and have created some cool projects, also welcome to share this in the comments below. I'd love to learn what you built with it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Also, we built a site where you can find all the AI tools out there, as well as look for jobs in AI, machine learning, data science, and more. Check it out at ai-search.io. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.